All right, my friends, how are you all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to our creative checkup. Once again, we're here on a Friday. My name is Alan C. Paul. If you're new to this platform, new to our place, new to our space on the internet, this is where we help you to solve one specific problem that might be affecting your creative life. As soon as I start, I lose my voice. I don't know what that is. I think I just go into this weird place and suddenly it's like everything freezes up. I don't know why that still happens to me after all this time. But anyway, hope you are having a wonderful Friday. No matter where you're watching from, please share where you're watching from. But we also immediately want to say in our prayers are all the people who were affected by the storms, by Hurricane Milton, and then before that with Helene. So we're definitely keeping them in our prayers. So hopefully all is well with you where you're watching from, if you're watching live or on replay. So I always try to make sure that everything is working okay. I jumped on here without checking a lot of my stuff. So let's make sure all of the audio. Oh, no, this audio is not what I want it to be. Let's see if you guys can hear me better now. Hopefully that's better because I just realized that my mic was wrong and I was rushing a whole bunch of other things. So I always try to make sure we at least get a couple of comments, which means that technically everything is working because that way I will know. I see Denise Fabian over here on Instagram. We're going live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So I see you there, Denise. Great to see you over here. Carlita as well. I believe Carlita Neil Earl, Net Earl, and Zoe Hoop Jewelry. So if you guys are joining us over here on Instagram, we can hear you and see you. But your comments always help me make sure that everything is working. And that is also where I hope that you will like this video if you're watching it, even if you're watching it on replay. I have my headphones on, by the way, not because I'm listening to anything else, but because we've had this guy doing lawn work, even in the rain. God bless him. But man, I wish they wouldn't do it right now. So I'm actually just making sure that I can focus because if I hear that lawnmower go off again, I'm probably going to get freaked out. Manuel, it's good to see you as well, brother, from Worshiping Musician School. So good to have you here. And yes, that helps me, Manuel, because now I know that I'm being heard, that I sound okay. And it also reminds you that sharing, liking, and commenting help us get the word out. YouTube and Facebook, of course, they all love it when people actually interact with these things. So if you're live, if you can't get to the keyboard, if you can't get to your phone, share and like and comment. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. So I would love for you guys to do that. But Manuel has confirmed we're good. So we're going to jump into today's Creative Checkup. As some of you know, what we try to do from now on, I think I started this about 2 months ago, and I love this format. This has become like my favorite thing because I know exactly what's happening, and you probably also don't like to be in meetings where you don't know what's happening next. You like to be where things are organized, so we try to organize this a lot more. So what we do now is we tell you exactly what's happening before we go through the entire Creative Checkup live stream. So we're going to start with news and notes, our Gold Member Spotlight, our October events. Then we'll get into why you clicked on this, most likely because you saw our title, the one thing that will attract more fans and more people to your platform. We're going to talk about that. Vital signs are the things that matter most to us, the things that, like, just like the doctor checks your heart, checks your lungs, check the things that keep things running. We do the same thing with our vital signs, and this is something that is vital to your creative health and your business and your life, to have people who are connecting with you. And this will be one thing that will solve that issue. If you're feeling ignored, if people have not been checking your stuff out online, we're going to solve that with just one tip. Then we're going to get into our lab work, setting a focus on what moves the needle. That's going to be something that I have really been working on in my own work as a creative. Then we're going to get into the consult. When do you start planning for 2025? We're going to have a little bit of dialogue about that, because hate to tell you guys, but 2025 is 11 weeks away, maybe even 10 by now. We are barreling toward it. And so we're going to talk about whether or not we need to start planning now. And finally, we're going to talk about the prescriptions, which is something really cool called the Glow Up Challenge, which I cannot wait to share with you. Let me give you one more glance over here at Facebook, not Facebook, on Instagram. Hopefully I still got you guys. And because I feel like I closed something, but I want to make sure I did not close it. Okay, because if I close Instagram, I lose you guys. All right, you're still there as well. Very cool. So if with no further delay, let's jump into today's checkup. I always like to start with a shout out to our membership, God and Gigs 360. This, if you've been watching, my church does this as well. We put a little thing on the board where we share all the blessings and testimonies we're getting. And slowly and slowly, the font gets smaller and smaller. That's exactly what's happening here. The font's getting smaller and smaller because there's so many amazing creators. I didn't mean to make it that small. Sorry, that was a little too small. Okay, so we have so many amazing creators that are joining our membership. If you didn't know, we have an app. We have a private group. It's not Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group. You might be watching in a Facebook group, but this is our app, God and Gigs 360. Gold is where we have people who have invested, who are now either being coached, or they might be coaches themselves. That's why they're called ECEs, established creative experts. That means they've built their own channels. That means they already are established in their own creative platforms, and they're actually helping to teach me and other people. So they join in and they have conversations with each other as well as with our members. And of course, our guests, 360 guests, are people who bought a one-time product, a challenge. They bought a worksheet. They brought a template. They joined us, and they remain in our membership. They don't get kicked out when the thing is over. They get to hang out in the forums for life. But of course, they don't get necessarily all the benefits of the live coaching like the gold members do. So that's what the difference is between guests and gold. So I always like to explain that. And speaking of gold, I would love to put a shout out to our gold member spotlight and our newest ECE, established creative expert, Linus Sabatino. Linus is amazing. She was on episode 301, I believe, and she killed it. She knocked it out the park with this particular episode, but she also has her own group, Musician to Mogul. She has a coaching group, which has been incredible. What I've just seen from her testimonials is incredible. So she's getting into 360 Gold. She's finding her way around. She actually can attend some of our live events because she's already teaching in her own. But the fact that she's willing to come in our group, even while she builds her own group, that's what 360 Gold is all about. It's about this community that's building each other up. We're all building each other up to help each other as deeply motivated and convicted creators who love God, but also want to be excellent everywhere we go. It's where we rub shoulders and grow together. We're helping us all together become the creators that we were created to be. So Linus is just a beautiful example of that. So if you haven't heard her episode, please go back and check that out in the podcast. But Linus, shout out to you. You are a member, our gold member spotlight for this week. Now, some other events that are coming up very soon. This is next week, October 17th. I see you, Manuel. Yes, you got to get into gold, man. I've been rooting for you for months and weeks and years because you belong there. So we got to talk and make sure you get that in there. GodandGigs.com/gold is the quickest way, or GodandGigs.com/membership shows you all the different options. So today we're also talking about another amazing group that I'm a part of, which is the Podmatch community. As a podcaster, as you can see, my whole setup here, God and Gig Show, 300 episodes. I also produce 2 other shows and help out with a 4th. So there's so many things going on that my life changed because of podcasting. God really showed me podcasting as my new place to share who I'm becoming as a creative. And so I get to now share this in a national or international forum virtually called Podcasting Made Simple Live, run by Alex Sanfilippo, an amazing man, an amazing creative, an amazing CEO who's really become the voice of independent podcasters everywhere. And I'm going to be talking in this particular forum about building trust with your podcast audience faster. So if you want to sign up for that, please go check it out at podmatch.com/event. This is worth every penny. And by the way, if you join as a member of Podmatch, which I recommend to every single one of you, you should be a part of Podmatch, even if you don't have a show, because you should be a guest on other shows. I literally was on a show this morning. It released at 8 o'clock. I just tweeted it out to a few people. I don't have the URL here ready, but I was just on a show today. That was amazing. I got to talk about 360. I got to talk about my own life. 20 minutes of an engaging conversation, and you just don't get anything like that anywhere else. You don't get it in social media. You really don't even get it, honestly. You do get it in video because YouTube is video, but when you talk about podcasting, there's just something more intimate about the human voice that oftentimes I tell people, hey, don't worry about if it's on video. Just get on podcast episodes and then worry about the audio video thing later. So this is a highly recommended event next week, I believe. Yep. On Thursday, starting at 11:30. I think it goes about 3:30. And you can sign up at podmatch.com/event. Again, it's free if you join Podmatch. I believe the cost is, I want to say 97. I'm not sure. So I don't want to put out false information, Alan. Just, go there, sign up, get involved, be a part of that summit. It's got so many amazing speakers, some of which are, again, just way beyond my punching level. It's unbelievable, the panel that Alex put together. All right. Also, I want to mention to you guys, as I slow down, please go check out the latest episode of the God and Gig Show, our latest interview, I should say, with Wes Bird. Such an incredible man, really my spirit animal. We have so much in common, but what he's going to help you see is his transparency about how to find your sound and find your voice as an artist and musician, even when you're intimidated. Even when someone like him who's worked with, look at all these names, Nathan East, I mean, the bassist of all bassists, Sheila E. Everybody knows this is one of the most prolific, amazing musicians and performers in the world. People Bryson, Jeffrey Osborne. I mean, these are names that trust him. And yet he had a big issue with security in his own sound and his own voice and his own ability to create. So I would highly recommend you go check this out. GodandGigs.com/303. Subscribe to the God and Gig Show at godandgigs.com/podcast, and then go find this episode. This one will help so many of us that are struggling and not feeling comfortable in our own skin and our own playing and our own ability. We compare ourselves. We get us so crossed up. This is one I think every single one of us needs to watch and listen to. All right, as I check in on Instagram one more time, Lady Cora London, welcome as well. And if you're on Instagram, please give me a shout out. I can't put your comments on the screen, but I can see it, okay? So even though I can't put comments on the screen because Instagram doesn't let me, I would still love to see what you guys are thinking about what we're talking about. All right, 15 minutes almost there. And this is about to be announced, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the heads up right now. This is so exciting. I love this challenge. So some of you know, let me give you I'll give you like the cliff notes and then I'll explain more later. But in our Guiding Gigs 360 Gold comments and meetings and our connection calls, we've been talking a lot about how so many creators don't have time to get their online presence right. That's your social media, your website. I am the first person to admit my music website has been down for months and years, and I've just never cleaned it up. I've never gotten my position where I feel like my online presence matches my offline presence. I feel like I'm always trying to get that up, even though Guiding Gigs, of course, has been a place where I've tried to glow up, as you can tell with the presentation. But if you've been struggling to get your online presence to be optimized, to look the part, to not have to spend all your time coding and figuring out websites and what's the latest Instagram trend and what do I need to put here and what do I need to put there, and it feels overwhelming, well, this challenge is for you. 4 days, we're just going to dig in and finally get you to glow up in your online presence. That means your website and or your social media or both, or a combination of wherever you show up online. We're going to do that in 4 days, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm going to tell you more about that later, but this is your little heads up. There's only 50 spots available for this challenge because I realized if it fills up with a bunch of people, I really can't do the individual attention that I want. So we're holding it to 50 people total, and that is at guidinggigs.com/glow up starting Wednesday, October 23rd. I'm going to talk more about that a little later. But yeah, I just wanted to give you the heads up. This is exciting. This is going to be our favorite challenge of the year, I think. I know the other challenges are awesome. Consistent Creator Challenge, we did that. It's always an amazing session, 5 days, but I feel like this is going to give it a run for its money. So let's jump right in now to our vital signs. One there, let me put up here, Manuel, before I get started. Yes, you definitely got to get into gold. Please let me know if you have any other questions about gold. You belong there, my friend. I absolutely believe you should be there. Okay, so let me do it one more quickly. It's Instagram as well. Awesome. Hello from Sweden. So Hoop Jewelry. So good to have you. Wow. We are going international today. What an amazing thing to have our friends from overseas joining us. Thank you so much for that shout out on Instagram. That's why I check, because I want to see who is hanging out with us from all over the world. All right. Let's talk about the one thing that will instantly improve your platform and attract more fans. Now, this might seem like a very high promise to keep. After all, when I say I can just give you one thing and it will instantly improve your platform, I'm basically saying if you just do this one thing, everything else takes care of itself. It's like I'm promising you a silver bullet, which I never do. I almost never promise anything that I can't deliver. I like to underpromise and overdeliver. But in this case, I am sure that this one thing will instantly improve your platform, create more connection between the people that you're called to reach, and attract them instead of driving them away. Before I talk about the one thing that instantly improves your platform, let's talk about the many things that keep people from following you or being attracted to you. Let's talk about the fact that I just mentioned it before I talked about the glow up, that a lot of us just don't have the time to really focus on making our online presence look good, feel good, sound good. We have to go find either visuals or know who has time to take pictures of yourself or get a photo shoot. And then what do I put in my bio? And then why do I put these things over here on this website? Do I code my own website? Do I get a Squarespace or Wix or WordPress? There are so many things that are standing in the way of you having this place that you live online where people can just say, here you are. I want to listen to you. I want to buy your stuff, so on, and just get right to it. So all of these distractions and struggles are usually the things that keep people and they repel them from following us or connecting with us because we spend so much time spinning our wheels that, as I just mentioned, there will be one thing that people are looking for, and then they can't find how to follow you. Your pictures are not updated. Your look is not the same as what they expected. You don't have the social media strategy all in place, and it just feels like there's always something falling through the cracks. So are you with me here? Does anybody else feel frustrated when it comes to trying to keep all the balls in the air with your online presence? And yes, I realize I hate saying it and I hate saying it over and over again, but I have to say it. I realize that this was not what you signed up for as a musician or a creative or artist or a filmmaker or a designer. You did not sign up to be a content maker, a content creator that has to have an online presence all the time. But you have to. There's just no way around it. Now, you can create a career outside of social media that doesn't have anything to do with that. But I think just being realistic, even if it's just a simple place where people can find your stuff online, where people can Google you, whatever it is, you do have to have an online presence of some sort. And I'm going to help you see why it's not as important what it is as it is important that you have this one thing figured out. If you have this one thing figured out, doesn't matter how big your platform is. You could have just one website or you could have several. You could have one social media thing or several. You could have just whatever the size of your online presence is. If you do this one thing, it will solve all the issues with that specific way that you show up online, no matter how big or how small you want that footprint to be. So I know you're probably saying, okay, Alan, I got it. I got it. You said all these things. What is the one thing? Like you just got me in suspense and you're trying to like do the drum roll thing. Well, if you want to make a drum roll, you can. Good to see you, Jay Mills, by the way, doing the chicken on Instagram. So what is that one thing? What is that one thing? What is that one thing? Let me get ready. And we go drum roll. Ta-da. The one thing that will improve your platform, your online presence instantly is to be clear, like you're talking to a fifth grader. Such a cute picture there, by the way. That looks like my daughter used to look like with all the hair. That is the one thing that will instantly improve your social media, improve your online presence, improve your website. If you think like you were talking to a fifth grader and you clear everything so that this young lady could understand what you are about and what you do, guess what? Instantly, you will have a more attractive website, online presence. Everything will immediately become better about your social media and your online website presence. How do I know this? Well, first of all, no matter when you're watching, if you're watching live or you're watching a replay, I have a feeling that the way I wrote this, even I wrote that particular byline that I wrote, is part of what got you here. I think that what got you here partly is that I was super clear. I said, I'm going to show you one thing. And then the byline on my thumbnail said one and done. I was super clear that this is what you're going to be offered. You're going to be offered one way to make your platform more attractive. So if you're watching, you are the proof that this works. You are the proof that just saying what it is, being clear, because any fifth grader, if I say, hey, fifth grader, hello, I'm going to tell you how you can instantly improve your online presence with one thing. And she was like, okay. Now, she may not know what a website is. She may not know any of the other stuff, but I'm pretty sure she knows what instantly improve your online presence and attract more people to it. She can understand that. And if your people that are coming by your websites and your social media don't know within 15 seconds, 10 seconds, what it is that you're there for, that's where you lost your traction, your credibility, your trust. All of that is lost if there is a confusion at the very moment that they find you. You have to find ways to be extraordinarily clear. And this is something that comes from many other copywriting guidelines and suggestions. that you talk or you make your bylines, your headlines, everything you write at a fifth grade reading level. And some people balk at that. I used to balk at that. I used to hate thinking like that. Wait a minute. You want me to write like a fifth grader or to a fifth grader? That just seems like we're just dumbing down society, right? But the truth is, it's not dumbing down society. It's honoring people's time by not forcing them to have to diagnose and decipher what it is you're trying to share. The world is going so fast. There are millions of messages being thrown at us every single minute. The least I can do, if I honor you as a potential person that wants to either follow me or connect with me or listen to my music, the least I can do is be super clear and say, hey, I'm not going to waste your time. Here is what I'm here for. This is what you're going to get. And I'm going to talk to you like as a fifth grader, because a fifth grader has just enough capacity to understand some more, you're not talking to a kindergartner, thank God, but you're also not talking to a high schooler or a college student. You're talking to someone who right there can understand, hey, this is what this is about. This, I can make a decision whether or not I want to follow this or not. And I want to show you some examples of this in a second, but this is the key thing. I want to pull this up a little bigger so y'all can see it. Clarity equals confidence, which equals connection. If this is making sense, I would love to see it in the comments just to make sure I haven't. Again, I always feel like I'm losing because I have all these windows open. Give me half a second because I literally cannot find Instagram anymore because I lost Instagram because of all of these windows. Let me find you, Instagram. Where are you guys? All right, I hope you're not commenting because oh, there it is, way down here. Almost lost this page. Here we are. Good. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any comments. I'm going to make this smaller. Thank you guys for being patient while I try to organize this so I can see everything. That's a little better. Okay, I think we're good now. I need to get the double monitor thing going. There we go. Now, let me continue. Clarity equals confidence equals connection. If you're clear, the people who find you know what they have found. They see you, they understand you, they get it, and you can then connect with them because they have confidence in what you have just shared as a creative. Whether it's a movie, whether it's, and again, I want to be very clear that this does not mean your artistry has to be super simple and plain and dull or something like that. You can be very creative and still be clear. I can look at a Picasso painting and spend hours discussing it and talking about the depth of it. But the second I see a Picasso, I know it's a Picasso. As soon as I come in contact with that particular art, I know that it's clear what the art is all about. Now I get to dig into it deeper. So this is all the artists that say, oh my gosh, I don't want to be so plain and boring with my messaging, and my online presence needs to be deep and needs to draw them in and be very mysterious. Yes, that can work. But again, think about that. If I want my art to be mysterious, how do I set that up? Well, I have to be very obviously mysterious. It's kind of like a catch-22, but you still have to be obvious. You still have to make it very clear, hey, I'm going to invite you into this little mystery thing, but you show it right off the bat what you are doing, how you are doing it. It's clear, which brings confidence. The person like, oh, okay, I want to explore this, which brings the connection because they know exactly what they have gotten themselves into. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense because I feel honestly that this is one of the keys that most people don't talk about when it comes to especially our line of work as creatives. We're not often told this. So let me show you some details and then we're going to get to some data here. It's not going to be super data, but pretty kind of convincing stuff here. Right here you see is my Facebook Insights from God and Gigs. I think this is Instagram maybe, or maybe it's the Facebook page. And what I want you to see is right around May 30th. Why is this a huge jump between May 30th and what do we, June and July? Well, I can tell you, number one, I took my friend, mentor LaShonda Brown's advice. I started live streaming more. I remember that happened. But I also went back and looked at what was I posting around this time. And right around this time, I started posting some very clear messages about what each creator checkup was going to be about. It's about the time that I started saying, hey, I'm not just going to come here and share and just talk. I'm going to make each particular live stream very organized. I'm going to talk about one subject, one thing will be clear, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And here was the effect. The effect is that I went from what I think was right around here, might have been, maybe 100 hours, I don't know, even less of watch time, to up here where it got to be in the thousands. And it was just incredible to me that I could pinpoint it with this graph. I did not know this graph existed until I found it a little while ago. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's proof. I got more clear about my message, and suddenly people were more interested. Suddenly people watched more. Same thing happens here in this particular social media feed that I help with, My Morning Devo. It has been adding more followers every single day, even though we barely post. We only post like maybe twice a week, but yet it keeps adding more followers. But here's the reason, I believe, because we're clear. A daily dose of heaven. Okay, that's what we're giving you, a daily dose of heaven. What does that mean? 5-minute devotional and prayer every Wednesday, every weekday. And we've had over 3 million downloads, and there you see the founder and how to follow. Like, it's so obvious. Here's what it is. Okay, the daily dose of heaven, 5 minutes, 3 million downloads. Here's where to follow. There's no fluff, there's no confusion, and I really think this is why that particular channel has been growing, because people know exactly what they're going to get, and they go ahead and follow. Now, these two websites over here on the side, I don't know if my slide thing is in the way. Yeah, hopefully not. Wait, let me go back. Yeah, hopefully you guys again don't have to see that thing in front. Oh yeah, you're good. Okay, so I have two sites here. One is my website, which I did my own little glow up with. And now you can see you're there. It says unlock the creative thriving life, the thriving creative life God wants for you. I had to sit down and say, what are you going to get from this website? I can't just say, oh, you get podcasts and you get this and you get this and you get this. That would have been confusing and it would throw people off. And for a while, to be honest with you, this website was not getting a lot of traffic because of that. Now it's pretty simple. And then if I blow it up, I think I can't really blow it up. I'd have to pull it up somewhere else. You can see what's writing here. It simply says, fill in your information here to connect with thousands of other creatives who are growing and becoming the creators that God created them to be. So unlock us, join us. Simple as that. When I simplified the message, everything got clearer and we have more people following this page. The same thing's over here, down here where you see the Kit, which is kit.com, which is our email service provider, our ESP. They've done an amazing rebrand. And you can see, once again, their webpage. I wish I had the old one, but I don't. Their webpage used to say something like sustainable growth tools for like it was just longer. Now it says for creators who mean business. Are you a creator who means business? Well, then this is for you. Are you not? Then it's not for you. Super clear right off the top. People know what they're getting and they can decide if they like it or not. But most likely, people who are attracted know exactly what they're getting right away. So I hope this is making sense to you. I hope that you see now clarity is the number one thing that you can instantly do. As soon as you clear things up, make it shorter, talk like a fifth grader, think in terms of what does this person get right at the top. And if you just do that right now to your Instagram bio, if you do it right now to your Facebook post, if you do it right now to your webpage, and you just say, I'm going to make this shorter and clearer. Now, is that a process? Yes, it is a process. But will it instantly improve your website, your Facebook, your online presence? Yes, it will absolutely clear that up instantly. The second you post that, things are going to change. People are going to be more attracted because they know what they're finding, they know what they're getting, and things will become even easier for you to share and sell as God gives you that impetus and that inspiration to do so. Well, my friend, I hope that helped in the vital signs. Let's move on to our lab work. If we're all together, if we are together, please remember, like this video, subscribe to this channel. Also share this with a friend who needed that little bump of saying, hey, just be clear. Just clear it up. Don't try to be fancy. Just Clear up what you're trying to share. If you would share that with them, I would love it. Okay. Lab work. Let's focus on what new moves the needle. And for me, literally what moves the needle is writing. But I'm going to ask you, when I say move the needle, of course, I got to make sure I explain this. This means something that is making things change. You're actually making a change. You're actually moving forward with your creative career, and you're doing things that actually keep things even more moving toward your goals. And like me, if you're like me, sometimes you just spin your wheels. You do a lot of the busy work. You do things that don't really move the needle. You do things that don't really make your creative life better. It's easier. It's more fun to play with your color fonts and all that kind of stuff in Canva. But the thing that will actually move the needle for me is writing. And I talked about this in our creative, our group, our mastermind calls in God Gigs 360 Gold. I've got to commit to, and we all agreed to this, by the way, in our group, our coaching group. We're all holding each other accountable. And my goal is to write 3 more devotionals. Really, I should be writing like 6 more before the year is out. So if you haven't read the first one, it's on the Bible app, YouVersion.com, Bible.com. Biggest Bible app in the world, the most users and so on. 750 million people. And yet, here I am with all this access, and I've only written 1 devotional, which you can find at godandgigs.com/creatorscraft. Okay, that will take you to the Bible app. It will take you where you can, if you haven't already gotten the Bible app, you can still do this online. But this devotional, the 3-day devotional, is what I started with. Super proud of it. Over 300 people have downloaded it and found and finished it. But I could have done a lot better with continuing my writing, but I let myself get distracted. That is so cool, Manuel. I see you. Manuel says he just finished his 3rd devotional. Man, make sure that you share that in the Creative Checkup Facebook group. And hopefully, if you join us in God and Gigs Gold 360 Gold, we can even talk more about how you can be, because we have a writer's circle, by the way, in God and Gigs 360. We have an authors and writers circle where just the authors and the writers share their stuff. So that's a perfect place for you. Again, this is why you need to get into gold as fast as possible, my brother. So that is what I'm focusing on, finishing this devotional and getting more devotionals on YouVersion. That will move the needle. More people could find me because they would be reading this Bible app, which is available, again, all over the world in all these different languages. And I don't think many other people are writing about creativity right now. So it's a huge opportunity for me. But my struggle has been actually sitting down and finishing it day by day, waking up, doing my morning devotionals, doing my exercise routines and so on, and then sitting down and actually writing. That has been the biggest issue. Just like my wife wrote that little post-it note for me years ago before I finished the God and Gigs book, which, by the way, I hope you guys, musicians, including Manuel, if you haven't read already, still, to me, just once I open it up and I realize I really don't share this enough, because musicians, I know I wrote this specifically to you, not to other creatives, but that's why it's so important to share, because this literally is my love letter to my fellow church musicians on how to succeed as a musician without sacrificing your faith. So you can find this at godandgigs.com and, of course, on Amazon and all those other places where books are sold. But this is where my heart is. My heart is in writing. Even though I play, even though I podcast, I got to do more writing. And so that is my focus. I will let you guys know. But I wonder, what are you focusing on? What would move the needle for you if you focused on it for the rest of October? That's kind of like going into the console. But I am curious. I would love to know. What would move the needle for you? Is it focusing on songwriting? Is it focusing on improving your website, on your online presence, on your branding? Is it practicing? Is it composing? There's something that will move the needle faster than anything else. Gary Keller calls it the one thing. What's the one thing that will make everything else relevant? If this thing gets done, all the other things get done. And again, for me, attracting new people to God and Gigs, the one thing that would do all of that would be to have more devotionals where people can find me on YouVersion on the Bible app. So that's where I'm focusing. That's my lab work. I would also ask you guys to have a clear picture of what you're focusing on. So whatever that is, share it in the chat. Obviously, if you're watching this and you're a part of God and Gigs 360, share it in the forums, share it in the threads, and let's help each other stay accountable to what God has put in our hands and the things that we gotta do, not the busy work, not the stuff that's easy to do, the stuff that is you have to be diligent about, because the Bible says that diligent hands make the man rich. That makes one rich. You get wealth, you get honor, you get satisfaction, you get all the benefits of being consistent when you focus on the right things and you do those things consistently. All right, we're almost to the end. We're about 40 minutes in. We've got 20 minutes left, which is good. We're right on time. So now let's talk about this one, which I think is a very, very interesting question. And I would love to get you guys' comments on this live as well. If you're watching on replay, I'd love for you to answer this in the comments. When do you start planning for the new year? When do you start planning for the new year? Do you start now? Do you start Thanksgiving-ish? It's like, oh man, okay, Christmas is coming. I got to start getting my plans together. Or do you wait till December and let's say that week before? That little week where after Christmas, everyone just goes into like a malaise, like everything goes, we don't know what day it is. And a lot of people use that time to like, oh my gosh, I got to get my New Year's resolutions down. Is that you? Or do you do it earlier? I would love to see in the comments, share when do you start planning for the new year? Here's why it's coming up. And it goes along with what I'm about to talk about with our prescriptions. So many of us do wait till the new year to start talking about the new year. And guess what? If you haven't built the habits and the infrastructure and everything that'll make that easier, what you're really doing is you're giving yourself double work. We talked about this a lot last week as well. If you're not really focused on what you're going to do with this next year and you're trying to like solve it as you go, it's just you're giving yourself double work. It's so much pressure when you could just say, hey, I already have my goals. Now I'm just going to work on implementing my goals for the next 3 weeks. Manuel says you started already. I love this. So you say you started already. So I'm curious about how deep you go. You've already started your New Year's resolutions or your goals. So have you gone all the way to writing it down? Is this a vision board for you? Like, what is it what does exactly that look like? Because I think there's all these different ways of planning. And even in our groups, I've never advocated a single way to plan. I know I do. I have my whiteboard over here, which I've used in the past. I have my 12-week year template. If you guys haven't checked out 12-week year, this is kind of where all of our methodology comes from. Definitely go check out the 12-week year. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find a quick link to that. But I don't know if it will be clickable. It might be clickable in the comments. I'm going to see if I can get a quick link to the 12-week year. For those of you, that's one of our recommended books, but I just don't remember if I've put it. 12-week year. And let's get a link for you guys. Get linked. This will be an affiliate link. But again, when you tap on affiliate links, you really do help us to grow this channel and find the people who really need to be found and who need this kind of resources. So maybe you can copy and paste that. Okay. You want to check that out. That's the 12-week year. Highly recommend that book to everybody. But he talks about not even trying to plan for the new year, like all one year, just the next 12 weeks. So for example, if you plan for the next 12 weeks now, and then you plan for the next 12 weeks after that in 2025, now you've got, in the ideas of this book, 2 12-week years, 2 years worth of planning done. Because at least you've already focused on the 1 year that we're talking about right now. And then you focus on the next 12-week year and you stay ahead of the game versus waiting until New Year's Eve. Oh my gosh. Okay. I got to come up with some New Year's resolutions. I love that. Let me see here. Manuel says you have the Worshiping Musicians Intensive April, July, and October on a whiteboard. Okay. So this is your event, right? Very cool. Very cool. So you've already got it written down for next year. That means you're already planning. Smart way to do it, man. I love that. I love that. Definitely love how you're already being intentional about setting the dates, because that usually is the hardest thing for most of us, getting those dates right. So I see you there. I thank you so much. Also over here on Instagram, Angel of this house is with us. You guys, again, if you can get to your keyboards, if you're not driving, would love to know when you plan to start planning for the new year. October, this month, November, or December, or you just kind of like, whenever. It's not a big deal to me. Maybe that's you. But of course, I would always advocate planning first, and that will get you the results that you want. All right. We're right at 45, so we can start wrapping it up. But this is an important section to talk about. So let's talk about our prescriptions. And like I mentioned, the prescriptions today are super important, because today we are going to be talking about you signing up for the Glow Up Challenge. And as you saw this entire time that I talked about the vital signs, the whole point is that I don't want any more creatives that are suffering in this kind of purgatory when it comes to your social media and your online presence. You guys are so gifted. So many incredible creators are in our circle. So many gifted people that play amazingly, that sing amazingly, that write amazingly. So your struggle really isn't your skill. Let's be clear about this. 90% of us in these groups, yes, we practice. Yes, we get better. But most of the time, our struggle is not with getting better. It's with talking about what we do and getting people to buy into it. And one of the things, have you ever heard that phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words? Let me know if you've seen that. Put it in the comment if you've seen that. Wilfredo, good to see you, my brother. Awesome to see you. We're talking about our Glow Up Challenge, which I think you'd find amazing. Definitely kind of just hits right where you're at, as well as we'll start evolving your brand and growing it. So how many of you, again, think about it. Like, how much time do you spend just fighting with Canva? How much time do you spend thinking about what you should put your bio? When people ask you for a bio, if you're like me, I've had this happen. People say, "Oh, I love to do da, 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 da. Where's your bio?" And you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have it. I gotta go come up with something." So we are oftentimes so poorly trained, so poor at talking about our own stuff. The very thing that God gave us to share is the thing we don't do well talking about. So what I wanted to do is make this a fun, engaging, and non-techie way for you to quickly change up everything about your social media branding. And that's why we created the God and Gigs Glow Up Your Online Presence Challenge. So let me read this for you. Those of you who are, it's probably too small to read, and then make sure you can see it and hear it. Join our 4-day challenge to evaluate, reimagine, and optimize your online presence with a group of like-minded, faith-focused creatives so that you can grow your community, attract new fans, and increase your income. Anybody not with that? Anybody not with like, I don't want to increase my income, I don't want to grow my community, and I don't want to attract new fans? If you don't want to do those things, don't worry about joining the challenge. Angel of this house on Instagram says, I'm in that position right now. All right, well then you are in the right place at the right time, because that's exactly why I thought this was the time to do it. As I just mentioned, I really feel like many of us in creative life just don't get this right because we are too busy doing the things to focus on glowing up and looking the part professionally online. But I'll tell you just a few things that I see always that just drive me up the wall. And it's like, if they could just fix this one thing, everything would be better. Things like, can you put your URLs, your website list in your Instagram bio? I see so many people who write out their website on Instagram. You can't click on it. It looks weird. It looks janky. It looks like you're trying to like you're just confused. So many people just miss things like that. So for 4 days, we're going to just jump in, and each day you're going to have a video and some assignments to help you fix those things. And it's just going to be boom, let's fix this, boom, let's fix this. No tech, no jargon. If it's a certain tool we're going to offer you, we'll give you a tutorial on that tool so you can implement it and clean that part and glow up your website that way, or glow up your social media. And again, the key is I'm not dividing this by specific, oh, we're only working on websites. Because some of you, like me, are like, you know what? The website is not my biggest concern right now. I just want to work on blank. I just want to get my social media figured out and just get it clean it up. Kind of like I showed you earlier with the My Morning Devotional, how we just said, you do this, 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 this. And people are flocking to the site, even though we're only posting twice a month or twice a week. Okay. So the glow up challenge is for you, Angel This House, anyone else that has been like just struggling, like, why is my social media not looking right? Why is my website not looking right? We're not going to try to do all this in 1 week. Don't worry. You do not have to fix your entire website in 1 week. We're going to do just like we did in this particular checkup. Pick one thing and we're just going to clean it up. We're going to glow it up. We're going to say, hey, if you changed it to this, instantly it's going to look better. If you did this with your website, and I've done this over and over again, you're looking at it. Why do you think we changed the colors here, guys? You see the purple here, and you see how we did that? You see how we created like a whole new look? That was a glow up. We said, you know what? We have used the same color scheme for the past 7 years. It's time for a glow up. It's time to mix things up. It's time to switch it up a little bit. One color palette change has invigorated. Honestly, like when I look at our own graphics, it's like, and remember, I am not a graphic designer. I'm a Canva kid. Okay. I am a Canva kid. So I've done all of my stuff on Canva for the last 7 years. And everything you see was built on Canva, except for the slide deck itself. The slide deck was built on beautiful AI, which I love. It works perfect with Canva because I get to upload things. Anything I don't do in Canva, I do it in beautiful AI. So all these things like work together perfectly, and it immediately makes my presentation look better. It immediately makes me feel more professional, look more professional, and people trust me. I'm going to talk about the same thing when I talk about podcasting made simple on my presentation, so you can see where this is going. The entire theme of the month is glow up. Let's not go into 2025 with struggles. Let's not go into 2025 with kind of not quite good enough websites and not quite good enough social media and things that just don't quite fit. And it draws people away. Let's get all that fixed in the Glow Up Challenge. That's what I would love for us to do as a group so that we could be amazingly comfortable and confident about our online presence, so that when people look at us, they're like, wow, number one, they love God. Number two, their stuff looks amazing. Number three, they're amazing. How can I sign up? How can I listen? How can I become a part of what they're doing? That's the goal, to create this just beautiful picture moving forward where you got the plan in place. So let me just quickly go over the dates. I know I'm rushing through all this stuff. Let me pull it up bigger so you guys can see it once again. It's Wednesday, October 23rd through Saturday, October 26th. So it starts on a Wednesday, ends on a Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the way it will work is you will be a part of our membership. So basically joining gets you into the membership. And when you do that, you'll be able to do the pre-challenge stuff. We start on the Wednesday. You get your first video lesson. You do the worksheets. You do the website, or you do the workshop stuff. You do the actual task that comes for that day. You talk with your fellow challengers in the forum. So you get to talk and share. Oh, hey, what did this mean? I don't know. What do you think it means? Oh, let's do this. I want to try this. Are you going to try this? Boom, 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 boom. The conversation is really what makes it, because relationships are what create this momentum inside the challenge. So you build up that momentum. You work on the second task, second day, third task, the third day. And then on Saturday, this is the coolest part. On Saturday, we're going to have a 2-hour session where we get to pull everybody that wants to be up on camera. We're going to pull up. We're going to do a live glow up of your stuff. You're going to show what you're doing up. We're going to work on it together. Some of us will be off screen working on it because we don't want to be on screen. But some of us will come on screen with me and we'll fix it together. You'll get to see it in live time, in real time, how you're glowing up and how we can fix little things to make your website pop, to make your online presence pop. So if that excites you, if you're wanting to jump into this, again, there's only going to be 50 spots available Let me grab that. Where is that? There it is. 50 spots available. I wrote it there. And $75, by the way, is for the new registrant. Those of you who are not members of Guiding Gigs 360. If you're a member of Guiding Gigs 360, I would highly recommend, just say, because as you can see, I'm trying to hint here that there is a benefit for being a part of Guiding Gigs 360, even if you're not in gold. Like, this is the key. I know you might say, okay, well, the gold members get a discount. No, I basically said, you know what? If you're in 360, you should be able to jump into the glow up at a highly reduced cost. So I would recommend you go log in to your Guiding Gigs 360 account. If you've forgotten how, just send me a little note. I'll make sure to send you the reminder. But basically, if you go to guidinggigs.com/membership, it should take you there. Okay. Go there and you will see your pricing, okay, as a member of Guiding Gigs 360, because I want to make sure you're rewarded for even being in the membership, even if you're not in 360 Gold and you're not paying for the coaching right now. That wasn't important to me. What's most important is that I have as many people as possible who need this. The 50 spots are available. If you really just take even if half of Gold comes in, that's like, yeah, like all the members, it could fill up from just gold members and from 360 members, guests. Okay. So I highly suggest you jump in right away. Okay. We're going to talk more about this next week. Obviously, we've got about a week or so to go, but I'm super excited about this. I would love for you to be a part of it. All right. We've got a little bit of time left, so I can just check and make sure if there's any questions or things that people have been asking or wondering about in terms of the Guiding Gigs plan for this next couple of months or weeks. As I mentioned, we have the Pod Match Summit, Podcasting Made Simple, next week on Thursday. We did have a workshop scheduled on Friday, but I'm glad that we postponed it, because I think I'd rather just focus on the creative, on the Glow Up Challenge, and not try to do a workshop in the midst of getting ready for the challenge. So the key things for those of you who are in Guiding Gigs 360 Gold, you have your 2 member calls coming up, our connection calls, our meetups. That will happen still. But I think we're just going to save everything for the Pod Match and then for the Glow Up Challenge, as we barrel through what seems to be flying by already. This month is flying by. So I would highly recommend that you guys stay connected. Oh, and let me just remind you again about a couple of other prescriptions. Make sure you sign up for that Podcasting Made Simple Summit. Wow, can't talk that. Podcasting Made Simple Live. You can sign up at podmatch.com/event. And please subscribe to this channel, guys. I noticed that 80% of the people who watch these live streams are not subscribed. And it's like, why? Do you guys not have Google accounts? Do you not have a YouTube account? Or is it just like what happens to a lot of people? You just watch and you're like, oh, okay, then you go on, but you never subscribe. Guys, we're at 985 people. When we hit 1,000, some major things start to kick into the algorithm. It gets us closer to monetization, which gets us able to even be able to profit off of just people watching the videos. That builds up our community. That means all of us get more benefits, not just me, because trust me, this money is going right back into this platform. These kind of things we spend right on this platform so we can make this even better for you. All the things you see are things that we were able to invest in because you are supporting us through time, talent, or treasure. Value for value. That's what that's called, okay? Time, you're sharing it, you're watching it. Talent, maybe you want to help us with administration, like our friend Via does in administration and virtual assisting. Maybe you'd like to write out or help with our Canva. Maybe you have some ideas for songs. All that kind of stuff is a talent. You'd like to do some of our graphics, whatever. That's talent. And then finally, treasure. If you'd like to actually buy something from the merch store, guidinggigs.com/merch, or you want to buy one of the products like the Glow Up Challenge. Okay. So all those things are part of it. All right, guys, we're right at 2:00. We're right on time. Angel of this house, thank you for joining. Spoon, Darren Mintz, I think that's right. Jay Mills was in the house. Jay Mills is amazing. Zoop Hoolery from Sweden joined us over on Instagram. Lady Cora London, Carlita and Annette Earl, and Denise Fabian joined us over here on Instagram. And then we have over here we had Manuel, who hung with us basically the entire day, I believe. So good to have you, Manuel. And Wilfredo also checked in. But anybody else that's watching this on replay, remember, subscribe, please. Because when you subscribe, you absolutely make it more possible for us to do what we're doing. Like, I know sometimes it sounds like, oh, people just want you to subscribe to build up the numbers. No, this is a community effort. This is a we, not a me. Okay. This is a we thing. God and Gigs is a we thing, not a me thing. It's a reason why I almost never put my name on pretty much anything that I share, because I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about we. Wilfredo, bless you, man. Thank you so much. You have amazing content. I saw quickly, I know we're over time. I saw you had one of our amazing creators that I highly respect, Rich Kirkpatrick, on your show, Stuck in My Mind podcast. That was super awesome to see that we both interviewed the same person. He's a great interview, a great mind. And he's also, by the way, just mentioned to you, he's also got content and teachings inside our God and Gigs membership at godandgigs.com/membership. So let me quickly pop that up. I would love for you to join us there at godandgigs.com/membership. And remember, once again, you guys know I always forget to do the banners. So I'm literally going to do the banner and then I'm going to sign off because it should have been done already, but I'm going to type it because I want to see it. So go to godandgigs.com/glowup to join the challenge before Wednesday. You want to get in there so you can be there just like first day of school. You want to get in there early, okay? You don't want to be waiting late and then miss your place at the lunch table with the cool kids. You want to jump in right away. So godandgigs.com/glowup. Reserve your spot, 50 spots total. And we're going to glow up some websites. We're going to glow up your channel. We're going to glow up the way you look online so that it matches. You can be authentic. It'll be the one way that you instantly attract new fans to your position. Awesome. Great that you had a wonderful conversation with him, Wilfredo. Yeah, he's amazing. We're going to talk about him, hopefully get him in again for a future episode. All right, my friends, we got to go ahead and jump out of here. Thank you once again for being a part of the Creative Checkup Live. Until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. God bless. We'll see you next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to check us out for a new episode on the God and Gigs Show, the podcast on Monday. God bless everyone.